Would have done just because this one's already missing the y, right? Okay, so x plus y plus z equals 12. 2x minus y plus z equals 16. 3x, these cancel, 2z, 28. Then you want to pair that with 3. Okay, and then what'd you do?
And then I multiplied the bottom with 2.
Okay. And then divide, x is 6, right? So that's the first one. Then you have to plug it back into one of the new ones, or the 3. Which one?
Get into to the second. Like
This one?
Yes.
And there's z. And then you got to plug it into one of the new ones. I mean, one of the original ones.
And then I put it to the first one.
Okay.
I think on the second one, I just completely forgot the negative.
Yeah, honest to God, like, I mean, you know what, I'm like ancient, I've been teaching this for a lot of years. It is always a negative that gets you.
Because it was everything else.
You got to be so careful. Just because you rewrite these statements so many times, you change them. And I will also tell you that, like, I know you guys are super smart. You like to do things in your head. And that is when people make mistakes, like 3 plus 2 is 6. Random crap like that happens, okay? So please, please, please be careful. I'm going to look for your work for this stuff. You have to show me the new one, the new 2, and then the solving, and then the plugging back in, and then the plugging back in. You cannot do that stuff in your head. Remember, this is a big chunk of points, and you will lose them if you don't show the work. So just keep that in mind, okay? This is one that's going to take a little bit longer. You want to be meticulous with it. You want to go slow and carefully so that you make sure that all the work is there and that you don't make a silly mistake along the way. Yes.
Another funny thing happened last night. So Sophia, when I was helping her with her.
So obviously your quiz is covering 9.1 to 9.3, okay? And it's tomorrow. You will have none of your own calculators. We did give you the lockdown calculator if you need it, okay? I would say you probably really only need it for the word problem. And even the word problem you can do without it. It's just there in case you need it, okay? But only the lockdown one. So for those of you that are taking this in person, you'll use your iPad just for the calculator. Okay, there are from 9.1, this was our substitution. So linear and nonlinear, meaning you could have an x squared, okay? The good news is that you can solve them using substitution or elimination because you then know that method. There also from this section was the word problem, the interest word problem.
How many questions?
There's a total of 5.
Word problems?
Oh, word problems 1.
Oh.
Yeah, 1. Sorry. I did the total problems.
Yeah, well, how many problems?
I think there's 5. 1, 2,
That's not good.
3.
Yeah.
That's very bad.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. 9.2 had elimination and graphing. So there will be a question if you look at your answer sheet. There will be a question on graphing. The answer sheet is on your module under where it says quiz and review. You need to make sure you print that because the graph is on there. So you'll solve for your 2 lines. You'll graph your 2 lines, and where they intersect is your answer. If they don't intersect because they're parallel, it's no solution. If they're the same line, it's all real numbers. Excuse me. Thank you.
Will it tell you, like, oh, do this with substitution, or do you pick which one to use?
So it does say substitution, I think, on one. I don't care. if you use substitution or elimination, you do have to graph. That's the only one that has to graph because your graph is actually part of the work. Yeah. If you have extra time and you want to check your graph question using another method, that's fine. As long as you also have the graph. And then 9.3 was your 3 variables, 3 equations, and there's one of those.
Oh,
That one's easier than the other one. Yeah, I like 9.3 better. I feel like it was substitutions are harder.
I mean, the thing is you can kind of pick. So for me, I always say, keep your options open. Because if you're 2 equations, if you have an equation that looks like y equals 2x plus 1 and then 3x plus 4y equals 10. I'm not saying those numbers work at all. But if I had something like that, it's easier for me to use substitution because 1 is already solved for a variable, right? So you want to keep options open. If they were both, if it was 2x minus 5y equals 10 and then 3x plus 4y equals 10, then maybe I do elimination because I don't want to have to deal with fractions while I'm doing the substitution, okay? If you get one that has, and you're going to see them on the practice, but like let's say I've got something like this, I can choose here. Do I want to use substitution? I can solve it for y in the top. I would never solve it for the squared one. That would be my only recommendation. Or I could solve it for x, and no, you can't solve for x in the bottom because you still have a y. You would have to solve it for y in the top and then plug it back in, or you can do elimination here. I can multiply everything in the top by 4 and then cancel out my y's that way. There will be, factoring involved when you have a linear or nonlinear like this, right? Because you're going to get an equation that's got an x squared and an x. You're going to have to factor. 2 x's means you're plugging back in 2 x's to get 2 y's. So that kind of question would say, like in the directions, it'll say if there's 2 answers, to separate them with a comma, you'll put the 2 sets of x, y separated with a comma, and it says to put the smallest x first. So if there was 2 solutions, it would be like that. Yes?
If you did the elimination one, then it'd be like x squared plus x, right? Not like them multiplied together.
Right, you'd add them. Yeah, you'd have to change that first one first, but then yes, you would add them.
Are there going to be any no solutions?
There could be a no solution, and those answers would be NS or the word no solutions in all lowercase. Say that again.
Which numbers
Ha 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 ha.
So for 9.3, there's only one question for the 3 equations.
Correct. Yep.
And then for the rest.
The rest is like 1 graphing, 1 nonlinear, 1 word problem, and then decimal or fraction. You're gonna get one of those. Yeah.
There we go.
So here, this is what I posted for the quiz review. There are a lot of problems on this. You don't have to do every single one of them, okay? They're chunked. The top is by graphing. I would probably recommend practicing the graphing. Then the substitution, maybe do a couple of those. You don't have to do all of them, okay? Then comes elimination, same thing. I would do especially the ones that have fractions in them or decimals in them to get you used to that kind of thing. You will see something like that. And then on the bottom, I added 2 nonlinear because your quiz is going to have nonlinear. And then all the way at the bottom is your interest word problem, which is pretty similar to the one that you'll see on your quiz.
I think they're all no solutions.
That's a risky move, but if you want to try it, go for it.
I get so nervous when I answer no solution.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Just double check, that's all.
I think one time I was on the website, I just put in no solution for one of them to see if it was no solution, so I knew if I had to do it or not. And it was like, oh, that's wrong.
It's an interesting
I
strategy.
don't want to practice another. If you have practice another, and then if the answer's no solution.
Oh yeah, they're all no solution. Yeah,
Oh.
that's funny.
I'm not smart enough to do that. So I was like, all right, you used up one of your chances.
Don't you wish your
Try
quizzes
again.
gave you the little green check?
Mhm.
You could submit and try again. That would never happen, but that would be funny if it would. All right, then you get these, right? And again, lots of extra practice here. So you don't have to do all of these. There are some that have different variables. If it's RST, it goes in alphabetical order when you give the answer. A, B, C, same thing. You could change those to X, Y, Z. It doesn't matter.
I found something I don't like more than Z.
What?
Is T.
Oh yeah, T's hard too.
It's not a T.
Are there T, like if the variable is T?
I kept thinking my Z's were two.
Yeah, I like make my 2's with the loop on purpose when I do a Z. Yeah.
I was like, do you want to like, is that a 2 or is that a 2 Z?
Okay, then at the end is all the solutions, okay? So they're all there. They're gonna be all the way to the end, okay? Where it says no, but that's not good practice. Unique solution, it means no solution.
No solution 15.
Okay, yeah. Well, don't.